Hi, so just a quick little video. I'm reading comments and there's this one from Paris Ivis, read the empathy counselor. And she left a comment under the video where I've been talking about this artist, I think it's Master Ogon, and he has some art with pretty good self-disclosure messages and what's going on with his take on it. And so Paris left a comment saying, Aquila, great art, yes, but it is not achieving anything. This art and the similar videos just briefly converted. Sometimes I think that these images and videos manifest the negative in the images. Okay, this is a totally valid point of view, and I can see how many of us could think and focus like that, mainly because wherever we look, a lot of the movies, video, music videos, and art and video games and anime will be constantly giving us that kind of thing. Whatever has to do that we can get and see in life will have that sort of thing. And it really depends on what we focus on. I think from my perspective, and it's all subjective and I can be wrong, I'm happy that people are able to share this stuff, specifically because for some writers and artists and musicians, in a way, I don't know if they're aware of it or not, but this creativity that comes out of us allows us to share how we see life, where we're aware of it or not. And at the same time, sometimes by this science fiction and fantasy, we also tap into our past lives where we have experienced something similar, or we know something similar that has happened that we share here. There are a lot of movies and books that came out way before its time, so to speak, even The Matrix, talking about how it all works. We use it as the common Bible right now. Like, oh, look, The Matrix, this explains how it all, it's a thing. It's like a Bible for nowadays, so to speak. But then a lot of little things that we can pick out, like They Live movie, or certain books and video games, like Assassin's Creed series, the first trilogy with Ezio, and it's just a lot of self-disclosure about civilizations that were beyond before us, and a lot of little things. And I don't know, Hunger Games, I haven't watched it fully, but there's a lot of messages as well, even that Jupiter ascending and tons of other little things. It's filled with those messages, and whether people are aware of it or not, when they share it, movies, music videos, anime, video games, books, and art, and everything else that we will see around us can be, in a way, telling us what's going on or what's going to happen. And something is like archons, in a way, and this is, by my opinion, it's kind of like they have to tell us that they're going to do something, show it to everyone, one way or the other, and then they can do it. It's kind of like, oh, look, here's what we're going to do. The whole thing with 9/11, where there's been tons of sort of messages and little, I don't know, 25th frame, I think it's called, where they it's a subliminal, you're just gonna pass you, and okay, whatever. But some people who are watching very actively, it's like little Easter eggs that are left out for the eagle eye, so to speak. And for some people, we can sort of see this is what they're trying to tell us. This is exactly what they're trying to show and tell us that they're gonna do. And I literally don't know how many of these creators, and specifically in movies where Hollywood is super big on giving people what, hey, here's what you should focus on. This is entertainment. But then they give a lot of little things. Even Marvel is filled with Marvel Cinematic Universe is filled with tons of those little archons and gods and who's doing what, and whole secret societies. And I think Doctor Strange had the Illuminati and all this stuff. Of course, yay, kind of childish way to show all that stuff, but it's there. They're not hiding it. It's in the plain sight, and it's for us to pick it out. Hey, they're talking, but they're doing stuff in plain sight. And are we aware of it? And are we able to talk about it? Are we able to, hey, look, this is what they showed, and let's discuss that. But that's one thing. And I can see how Paris, what she shared in this comment, this is totally valid, because in a lot of my videos, I have talked about how watching news and mainstream videos and everything else, there are groups that will use that information and videos and everything else to sort of direct our attention and make us focus on those things and make us think negative. Oh, and like, okay, well, your thought creates reality. So now they make you focus on negative stuff. You think about it, you feel that way, and then we start creating more of that. So it's all over the place. And really, I think it depends, and it's our choice on what we're going to focus on and pick out and what we're going to get. It's like hearing the same word, and people will hear, let's say, chocolate or sex or race or, like black people, white people, and Muslim, and, like religion and Bible and stuff like that. So there's going to be like key words in your life that will make you feel a certain way. The word in itself is okay, but the story that you relate to the word because what you've experienced is gonna be another thing. So, how we're gonna look at it, what we're gonna connect it to, how we're gonna feel about it is gonna be a big thing. For me, I think just hey, look, someone is able to create and let's say use your creativity, imagination, and our art to express how they feel and what they see around themselves. It's like we're not so or it's as if certain groups, and again, it's very general, but it can be the other way, because if you start pointing finger, all of a sudden it's hate speech and your video is being deleted off YouTube and all. But certain groups don't want you expressing that hate, or hey, we're being suppressed, hey, we're being targeted, hey, we're being messed with, and that's not right. They don't want us to feel that way. It's like fear, sure, that's great, being afraid of death, being afraid of going to hell if you make a sin, and all that stuff, that is great, that's fine. But oh no, you cannot have any hate for certain people in this life. That's not good. That's a sin as well. You should go to hell for that. Like fuck you, man. So yeah, I don't know. Certainly for me, when I look at things, I will interpret it by the way of how I see reality and how I feel about things. We all can see the same picture, but we're all going to feel the different way, and we're going to have different thoughts based on our understanding. And, hey, I'm glad some people can share their perspective, and it's great. It's good to talk about it. Even if it's negative, it's good to be aware of it and bring it to everyone else, because if we're not able to talk about a negative and we only can say, hey, love and light and everything's going to be fine, don't you worry, and we're going to be safe, that's not going to help, because we're not going to take action. We're going to wait to be saved, and then everyone else can do whatever they want to do. They can be psychopaths, they can be narcissistic, they can suppress you, mess with you, but don't you dare talk negatively. So anyway, this is just my thoughts for now. And yeah, how do you view art? How do you view movies and music videos and anime and video games, or whatever you sort of consume as maybe entertainment, or maybe oh, look, that's creative, that might have an self-disclosure message or subliminal stuff that, you can look at it and interpret it your way. What triggers you? What doesn't trigger you? Are there any things that are fuck yeah, everyone should look at it? Or more oh, it's too negative, don't show it. So what's your take on that?